Hello! So today I had a feeling that I haven't really decluttered my makeup for a long time. Probably have some items that I don't really need anymore. I just thought that I needed them when I was decluttering the last time. So that is the reason for today's video, but I just want to start with a little bit of story for you of how I got to this point, because I think it's very interesting how people get to the point where they actually need to declutter their makeup when they have so much makeup that they need to declutter it. And I think it is always fun to hear stories from people's past, so that is what I will do. Start with my story and we will see if this is too long to just be one video, and maybe I will split this into two videos because there are a lot of details in the story of how I got my makeup, how I got into makeup, and then how I decluttered my makeup. So let's just get into it. When I was little, I sometimes had the urge to use makeup. I mean little, like 14 or 13, only to the point where I found that bright colored lip gloss very cool, or that eyeshadow really cool. And it was the early 2000s, and it was very cool to draw a line at your waterline, and yeah, I found that really cool as well. But it never really got to the point where I would use makeup every day or something like that. That was thankfully avoided for that time. But my real story with makeup started when I was about 17, I think, or 18 years old, when I discovered the beauty world of YouTube. And I started watching videos of how people use makeup. That was pretty great because at least I got some insight into how the technique of makeup actually works. And I don't even know how people learn how to use makeup without YouTube, or how they did it before, because I really had no idea how to use makeup up until that point. And that was pretty great that I could see how someone else is doing it and how you can actually do makeup without you looking like an idiot. I slowly started to get into makeup and I started to learn the basics, and after a while I got a pretty good understanding of how different makeup items worked, because up until that point I really had no idea what foundation was, for example, what foundation was good for, and what the difference between foundation and concealer was, and stuff like that. And oh, I just remembered, it was a flashback. I don't know if you had watched YouTube beauty gurus, but they used even kabuki brushes and stuff like that, so I even learned these words as well. So I really enjoyed the whole process, and I even liked using different makeup looks and trying different makeup looks. Sometimes I would just sit in front of the mirror while watching a YouTube video and just try different makeup looks. Again, I don't know if you can relate to that, but to me, after a while, it was like I was my own professional makeup artist, and I started to really take myself seriously in that area. It also really didn't help that people doing their makeup were also taking themselves very seriously, and they had a ton of makeup. Back then it wasn't like the companies were sending them all this stuff. Companies didn't really do that as a marketing technique. So it was really all the stuff that they bought for themselves. And if you watched these girls do their makeup for a while, you started to feel like it was normal for an average person to have that much makeup. That is how the feeling that I should be owning more makeup if I'm serious about makeup came about. These people are just people like you, and they have a passion for makeup. So if you have a passion for makeup, then it is perfectly normal for you to have the same amount of makeup as they do. So that was a pretty dangerous time for me. Every time I went to a store that sold makeup, I was always looking for new stuff and looking for things to try. Because there is one thing that you can learn from makeup on YouTube, that there is always a reason to try something. And And it is always best to try something new, because who knows, that might become your holy grail makeup product. And if you don't try a different makeup look every day, then you are boring. And if you're doing your makeup with extreme colors, that is even more fun. It makes perfect sense. And there was a time when I even wanted one of those huge eyeshadow palettes with 100 colors in them. I don't know if you remember those. Now I can see that no one could ever use up that much eyeshadow, but back then it wasn't really transparent to me. I remember that they even made different eyeshadow palettes with 100 colors in them. You know, there was a shimmery one, a glittery one, and a matte one, I guess. And for some reason I even thought that the idea of getting a glittery eyeshadow palette that had 100 colors in it was not even a crazy idea. Because I mean, just think about it, it makes so much sense to have 100 colors of eyeshadows, and from that point on you are set, you have everything that you need. You can do every makeup look that you could ever want. You can really just release your creativity and anything can happen. That was the mindset that I was in back then, you know, just to get a feeling of that. The only thing that saved me from buying those eyeshadow palettes was that back then I couldn't really shop online. I had never done it before, and I didn't even have a debit card back then. And I think these companies also didn't even ship to Europe or something like that. At least that was something that I managed to avoid. But over time, without even these eyeshadow palettes, I piled up, looking back at it, a lot of makeup. Not a beauty guru's amount, nowhere near that. I can't stress this enough that this wasn't a huge amount of makeup, but it was still a significant amount that was hard to organize and to keep neat, and I don't think I would have used it up if I used makeup every day up until this point. So it was pretty obvious that I had makeup that I couldn't and wouldn't even use up, because there were some really crazy colors in there of eyeshadows, especially bright green and bright yellow eyeshadows. So I came to that realization when I was about 20 years old, and after that I got rid of the obviously ridiculous part of my makeup collection. And after that I was left with a reasonable makeup collection, in my opinion. It was also lucky that I could realize what the makeup look that I think actually looked best on me looked like. After that I could really start to look for those items that are really perfect for me, and I didn't buy those ridiculous bright colors anymore. But I still did have some ideas stuck in my head that made me keep a lot of the makeup I wasn't even using. Not of the crazy colors, but some basics. For example, I had the idea that everyone should have a black eyeliner, because who knows when you will want to have a black eyeliner look. That is such a classic. I thought that I had to have a black eyeshadow because, again, who knows when you are gonna need it. I mean, apart from making a Halloween costume, if you don't use it in your everyday makeup, then you shouldn't have a black eyeshadow, in my opinion. And the ridiculous part is that a black eyeshadow was never part of my makeup, so no, I have no idea where these ideas came from. There was also a point when I decided that I would have my autumn makeup look, that I should have a purple eyeshadow for that. And the purple eyeshadow, you know, is cozy, it looks good, because I have blue eyes, it also counteracts that, so that is very, very reasonable. Again, everything was very reasonable in this story, right? Like, you could see how my mind got to the point where I should declutter makeup. After a while, I noticed that I didn't use any of the purple eyeshadows that I had. After a while, I got rid of those as well. So that was probably 1 year ago, not too long ago. And after that, I was determined that I would only keep that makeup you would actually need for the makeup look that I always have. We are at that point now where I somewhat achieved that. Please share your story with me, because I would like to know if I'm the only one who was so much into YouTube beauty gurus, or I maybe have some fellow ex-obsessors. You can even share who were your favorite beauty gurus, because I think that is also an interesting talking point. So, yep. So please share your story with me, because it would be so interesting to hear. And thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting to you. Have a very nice day. And if you have seen the original Cleopatra movie with Elizabeth Taylor in it, I think you can pretty much understand why a little kid would want to wear makeup and want to try makeup and want to even try crazy amounts of makeup and crazy colors of makeup. It is a good movie, I really recommend it. It is very much like The Lord of the Rings in terms of how much effort they put into the whole set. I mean, they made that movie in the 50s or the 60s and they didn't have special effects back then. And really amazing scenes are in that movie. So, if you don't have anything to do tonight, then watch it.